Hi, welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to create a organic kind of squelch within Pigments. So let's get started. First thing, open up trusty Pigments. Let's turn off the utility engine. I don't think it's doing anything, but I just like to turn it off just to be sure. On engine 1, let's use analog for this. Also, just before I go too far, I'll let you listen to where the squelch will go in the track. This is just a 1-bar loop here. And then I've just mapped out a little bit of MIDI, just some basic notes. That will be the squelch. So that little doodah there will be the squelch. So quite clearly it's too bright. Let's turn it down. Let's start with 24. Yep, that could work. It's a squelch, so we know we need bandpass 24. We'll stick with multi-mode just because I love the sound of it. To be honest, all the filters in Pigments are absolutely superb. But we'll stick with multi-mode. Let's turn this down. Turn the resonance up a bit. Already you can hear that sounds absolutely amazing. And all we have is a saw wave and a filter, and it's still doing that lushness. In fact, it's a sound by itself that you could use. But it's not the one we're after today, so let's move on. Let's just go to the effects and we'll fix this. By default, the delay and reverb are on FX A. I don't really like that, so if we right click on it and we can do copy FX, we can copy FX to B1, so it's gone there. And then for the reverb, let's do the same. Copy FX to B2, and then let's turn them off in A. The reason for doing that, just so that they're at the very end of the chain. Well, I say very end, and that's because at the end here, we're going to put a multi-filter on, put a high pass, and we're just going to cut out some lows when the time comes to do that. Let's just take these off completely, actually. Off and off. Now let's add a LFO1. So click on LFO1 and let's modulate the coarse tuning with that. So let's drag that little guy up. Currently it is bipolar. We want it to be unipolar because we've got the lower point. We just want it to go up. Let's set the retrig to, well, just do mono keyboard. So every note it starts again. And then we can play with the rates here. Let's maybe turn the depth of that up a bit. That sounds okay for now. Let's now put a macro onto the cutoff. So let's go macro 2. And let's drag it up. Just call this little guy cutoff. What we can do next is on macro 1, we can change the rate of the LFO. So let's drag this up. So then when the time comes, we will modulate the rate here. So let's just call this one pitch rate. So let's just now put in some rudimentary automation on macro 1. Do the same for macro 2. Let's see what it sounds like 3 octaves down. Let's go 36. So I like that a lot better actually, down 3 octaves. So now that we've turned it down 3 octaves, let's add a little bit of bite back up top. To do that, let's use distortion. Actually, let's use Bit Crusher. Delay, let's change that to 1/8. Dotted, ping pong, because psytrance. So now after drawing in a little bit more automation, as you can see here, we have this. Or if we extend it to the full 4 bars, we have this. You heard there's a bit of a gap there in this third one, and that is because I added a Valhalla delay on 1/4 for the automation for the mix to go up just in that section there. So with that in place, it sounds like this. So that's filling out this section here. Whereas all the other times, then I'm using the Echo Boy. I decided to take off the delay within Pigments. It sounds fantastic, but I found that Echo Boy with the automation just works a lot better. And then Valhalla adding it to it as well gives the final piece. So there we go, a nice organic sounding squelch in Pigments. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.